All the tables have been loaded, and now we'll write the Python application, which is the GenAI application, using the template and the steps that I had mentioned in the previous videos. First is the definition of the functions. In our case, the functions will make calls to the PostgreSQL server. So we'll have to define one or more functions so that the functions can be used to call the PostgreSQL database and get data. So for that, we'll have to import the pseco pg2. You can use pseco pg3 also. And then we'll define maybe two functions. So one would be to get the customer details, and the other one would be to get the account details of all the customers. And this is the name of the function, fetch SQL customer info, and I'm passing the customer ID. Now see, the name is pretty elaborative. It's not a typical Python function name. A typical Python function name is small and short, but here the name is a little long. The reason is because the large language model that you are going to use, it would also look at the name of the function. So you have to make sure that it is elaborative enough, or it is named as per the functionality of the function. Now I'm creating the connection variable which is used to connect to the PostgreSQL server. And this is the endpoint that I have retrieved from the Azure console, the port, the database name, the user, and its password. So using this variable, using this connection variable, we are making connection to the database server. Once the connection is created, we'll have to execute the SQL statement. And in Python, we have to use cursor. So I'm creating this cursor CUR, and this is the query cust info SQL, and it is a multi-line comment that I have used, inside of which I'm using this SQL statement, and I'll have to pass the customer ID. That's why customer ID is an argument to the function. Now then we'll execute the query using the cursor. I'll pass the customer info SQL and the variable which is customer ID. Once it is executed, all the rows or the entire output result set would be there in the cursor. So you can use this command or use this statement cur.fetchAll to get all the rows in a single variable. And this would be an array, rows would be a list. Now I'm planning to send the result using a JSON or a dictionary document. So that's why let me create an empty dictionary. And if there are no rows, obviously it might happen that the customer ID is not present. If there are no rows, then I'm just passing the customer ID and the value with the key description. And in the output, I'm saying customer not found. So this is the case when there are no output rows. But if there are output rows, I'll have to fetch all the rows and then put them into the dictionary variable, which is cust underscore row. So that's why I'm using the for loop. For each row, I'm setting up the customer ID, the first name, last name, date of birth, and email. These are the only things that I'm fetching because I do not need all the information. Maybe I'm passing only a few information. Even though I'm retrieving all the columns, I'm only using 5 columns out of those. Now after this, definitely I'll have to close the cursor and I'll have to return a value because it is a function. So the return should be in JSON. So let's use json.dumps and then cust underscore row. So I'm using this JSON library to convert the dictionary item into a JSON document, and then I'm returning the value. Okay, so that's why I've imported JSON also. Now let's test this out. As I told you that we have to make sure that we test this output, and I'll use this customer data file to get the customer ID. You can use any one of the customers. So let's use this one, and I'll call the function and I'll pass 156611 as the customer ID. And here let's just type record. This is only for testing, and I'll print the record. So if I execute this, the value 156611 would be passed to customer ID. Then the execution of the SQL statement would be done using the same customer ID, and then the execution would be over. And if the customer is found, then obviously it will return the row which should be printed. Alright, so let's execute this. There's an SQL error. It says customer table not found. The reason is because the name of the table is customers rather than customer. Change the name and let's execute this. It is still not able to find. I think I know the problem. I did not create these tables in the finance underscore db database. I had created this in the Postgres database. That's what the problem is. So I've changed the database name to Postgres, and now I can see the output. So this is the output 156611. The customer is there. Let's pass customer ID 100. Let's see whether the customer is there. It says customer not found. So it is working. I'm able to get the customer details. Now I'll define one more function which will retrieve all the account details of the customers. So I'll provide the customer ID and it should fetch me all the accounts for that customer. I have used a little bit of creative name here, fetch all customer accounts. Now if you read this, it tells you that I'm trying to fetch all the accounts for a customer. Maybe fetch all accounts for customer. That would be better. The reason I'm emphasizing a lot on the names because the large language model will use this name also. So this name would be a hint to the large language model to call the function. So that's why you have to be a little cautious about the names also. So the database name is Postgres and the user is also Postgres and its password. The SQL statement would be a little different. So I'll be using this to write the SQL statement, and this is the SQL statement. I'm passing the customer ID and I'm getting all the account, the corresponding customer ID, the balance and the opening date. These are the four things that I'm trying to get from the database. The remaining things would be the same. I'm using the cursor to execute, passing the SQL statement and the customer ID. The rows would be there in the cursor, so I'm using the fetch all. Now I have initialized a variable of type list. The reason is because I'm expecting multiple accounts for a single customer. If there are no rows found, then I'm initializing the customer row inside of it and the customer ID and the description is being passed. Now, if there are rows, then I'm initializing customer row again and then I'm passing the account ID, the balance and account opening date. These are the three things and I'm appending it with all accounts. The reason I'm appending it because it might be an array. There can be one or more rows or one or more accounts for the customer. Now all of them would be there in the cursor. So I am retrieving each column and appending it to the array. Once this is done, I'm closing the cursor, I'm closing the connection also, just like earlier, and I'm returning the entire array. Let me execute this just for testing. And I'll use this account data and let's try to find out the account for this customer, which is 108941. And I'll use the function and pass the customer ID and let's print the account records. It should be an array by the way, but it's okay. I'll just print the array. Okay, so I have to provide the proper password and this is the output you see. We have multiple elements, the account ID 100, then account ID 131268. Looks like there are multiple accounts for the same customer. Let me pass a customer who does not have any account. So the array is empty. It should not be the case. I should append the output here also. Now let's execute this. So there should be customer ID 100 and the description is no account found for customer. So I have used the template and the first step is done, wherein I have defined two functions. The first function is retrieving customer information from the customers table, and the second function is fetching all accounts for a single customer. So step 1 is done. I'll be using these two functions in the code itself. Let's go to step 2, wherein you'll have to define the main function. Before that, let me comment this.